Hey everybody, this is Steve. Do you feel like your mind is cluttered, like it's a mess? Would you love to be able to think more clearly than you can do right now? Well, look, I would love for you to be able to experience a more peaceful mind and to think more clearly. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some ways that we can enter trance states that can help with that. And after you've watched this video, I'm pretty confident that you'll be able to use some of them. But why listen to me on this topic anyway? Look, as a coach of many years now and as an NLP trainer, I've explored a lot of work with trances and I've experienced a lot. It's been fundamental to my transformation and it can be fundamental to yours. And I've seen it work with loads of people. So hang around and follow through with this. Now, the first thing is a metaphor. You cannot shake a snow globe clear. Now, I can't take credit for that metaphor. I first read about that in Jamie Smart's book, Clarity, which, by the way, I recommend. Now, I don't know whether he originated the metaphor or whether he picked it up from someplace else himself, but that's where I first saw it. And if you think about it, it's a good metaphor for this. You shake a snow globe, it gets cloudy. You shake it even more, it gets cloudier. The only way to let a snow globe go clear is to put it down and let it rest. And it's like that with the mind. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today is how we do that, how we metaphorically put that snow globe down and let it settle. In other words, rather than try and push our way to clarity, rather than to try and think even harder to think clearly, then to actually let go, to actually relax, to actually stop thinking, stop trying, stop pushing, to slow down. Now, here's the thing about trances. People tend to associate them only with deep states of hypnosis. But one way of looking at this is actually we're always in a trance. The only question is which one. It could be a high performance trance. It could be a low performance trance. It could be I'm hating the day and I'm going to drag my heels through it trance, as well as deeply relaxed trances. Now, I'm going to start with the simplest and perhaps the most obvious and most well-experienced way that people can enter into a trance-like state. And that is simply to stare at something like a candle or an open fire. I'm sure you've had the experience that when you stare at a candle, especially in dim light, it does have a mesmerizing effect. And by the way, that word mesmerizing, don't forget, is linked to trance states and hypnosis. So this is one of the ways that you can do that. Simply dim the lights, start a candle, or make an open fire or a wood burner or something like that, and just stare into it. And you will notice that that snow globe of the mind will start to clarify. I'm sure you've experienced that before. Now, I recognize that you can't always do that. If you need to get clear mind on a train, nobody's going to appreciate you lighting a candle. At work is not an appropriate environment for lighting a candle, but there are other things you can do. You can stare at a light. You can, even if you're working on a desktop, you can get something up, maybe on YouTube or something like that. Maybe you can look up with a video of a lighted candle, but just something that you can stare at, that it is hypnotic to stare at. And I'm sure you can use your intuitions about other things that you could use besides lights, candles, wood burners, open fires, and things of that kind. Now, another well-experienced way of letting the mind settle is to do something gently physical, to shift from mental activity to physical activity, preferably something that doesn't require any thinking, preferably something that has a regular repeating pattern to it, like, for example, walking. Walking is a good thing for this. When I was a student, used to walk a lot for the sake of clear mind. I would be studying physics, or I would be studying computer science or mathematics, and I'd be encountering concepts which I would find difficult. I found a lot of concepts in that difficult, but rather than fight my way to understand it, I always found it was a good idea to take it until I felt stuck and then stop. Again, put the snow globe down, let it clear, by, in this case, putting my shoes, my coat on, and going out for a walk and just taking a nice long walk. which, it doesn't require too much thinking, it doesn't require too much effort, it's got that nice repeating pattern to it, and it helps the mind settle. So that's another idea. Put your shoes on, get your coat on, and go for a walk. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video and if you're liking what the topic is and you're liking the kinds of things I'm coming up with, please do give the video a like. It does help other people see it. And don't forget to subscribe at the same time. And also, I'm curious as to whether it feels strange to you that I'm talking about trances when I'm talking also to mostly professional people. I mean, you might not be a professional person yourself, but a lot of professional people come to this channel. So does that feel weird? Does it feel weird to talk about trances? If it does, leave me a comment and tell me why you think it feels weird. Or indeed, if you think it doesn't feel weird and you think that actually this is a very useful resource for professional people, I would love to hear what you think about that too. So leave those in the comments and I'll reply to as many as I can. Now, another great way to enter into a trance state is to use breathing. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a breathwork specialist. There are people who are. For example, my friend Michael McCaffrey, he absolutely specializes in that. But even though I don't specialize in breathwork, which can go very, very deep and become very diagnostic, I do know that one of the ways we can enter into a trance is to put our attention on our breathing and to pace that breathing, to consciously breathe in and put our attention on the breathing that we're doing, and to breathe in, breathe deep, breathe down as if you're breathing into the center of the body. Do it slowly, hold it and exhale slowly, and become very conscious of the process. It's very difficult to have a lot of busy thinking going on up here when we're doing what you might want to call mindful breathing. And there is one other way of entering into a trance-like state, which again will help you put that snow globe down and let it settle. But I'm not going to actually have time to do it in today's video because it requires a 10-minute video all of its own. And that is to use a self-induction script. So in one of the future videos that I'll put out in the next few weeks, I will guide you through a self-trance induction. And I'll offer you a script that you can use to help yourself enter into such a trance state. So again, hit the subscription button and hit that notifications bell so you can see when that video appears. It will probably be 2 or 3 videos down the line, but it will be well worth it. And another way that I can put forward to you about how you can put that snow globe down and let it settle is to simply go into a room, switch all the lights off, or at least dim them. Avoid all distractions, switch off all electronic devices, no phone in sight, no laptop, no tablet, no television, no radio, no CD player, no iPod, no streaming, absolute silence and dim light, and literally just sit in a comfortable chair, in a comfortable position, and just be at peace. Now, to begin with, you might do some thinking, but if you just relax into the space and get rid of all of the distractions and all the noises and all of the, all of the stimulants, then you will find that the snow starts to settle in that metaphorical snow globe. Whichever of these methods you use, whether it is staring into a candle or a wood burner or something like that, whether it is going for a walk, whether it is to engage in mindful breathing, whether it is to use the comfortable chair, whether it is to use a self-induction script, which we'll cover on that later video, as I said, then the thing is, once the mind starts to clear, you will have new thought. Remember when I said I used to go walking when I was trying to learn difficult concepts in science? I would always enter into the walk feeling a little bit stuck. I would probably ruminate on the thought for a little while, but eventually it would dissipate, eventually it would calm down, eventually it would clear. I would have a nice invigorating walk. I walk pretty fast. And generally speaking, by the time I would get back to where I was living, I would have new insight about what I was learning. And I would be able to go back to the books, look at it again and think, yeah, I think I get that now. That's the kind of thing that happens. Now, if this is something that you'd like some support with or you'd like to talk further about, then by all means leave a comment. My own contact details will be in the pinned comment below this video. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video, again, please like it. It helps other people see it. Please share it with your friends. Please remember to comment and tell me about your feelings about talking about trance work as a professional person. But most of all, please do subscribe and hit that notifications bell, and I'll see you again next week.